want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. They'll take for their disease. Just like a weed, spread into the streets. It's time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip gods into weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make great.
All right, guys, let's get this party started. If you want a reading, be sure and visit my stand store. It is linked in the description below. And as always, we have a fair use, a disclaimer. As you come in, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share the video if you like it. Let's get it going. What about now? Can y'all hear me now? Am I back? Can y'all hear me now? Hello. I've done said hi to everybody. Welcome myself in. Welcomed y'all in. Just a talking away. Let me know if you can hear me now. Thank God. Damn it. I guess it's been so long. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's try this again. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today on this Sunday. Hey, Shauna, Orb Attraction, Kim, Smack Talker, Elaine, Mama Marissa, Jeff, Janet. Hi, Mama, Elaine, Lisa, Kat. How's it going, guys? I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, Michelle, Witchy Mama. I see y'all. His eyes. Yeah, April. D Green. Hey, guys. Hey, hey, hey. I'm so sorry, guys. I really am. Really am. Hey, Kiki. How's it going, guys? Yeah, I'm sure I did. I mean, I'm always the butt of the joke, it seems like. I know. I've always got to show out, show up and show out. Jeff came in here, is like, you muted, babe. Sorry. Sorry, sorry. It was on my computer. It was definitely my error. Like a goofball. I mean, yeah, y'all. Welcome to the Watchers. Welcome, welcome. So I hope everybody had a good holiday. Ours was it was pretty tiring. Let's just say that my granddaughter got a room makeover. It was the last minute decision and we were up till like in the middle of the night, way past our bedtime. Way past our bedtime. And I'm still trying to recoup. But anyway, so glad that you guys are here. I thought I would go over some of the astrology. We were talking before the holidays and we were talking about how it was going to be pretty intense, which, I mean, when is it not intense? But for Sebastian, those of us who follow his case, we do know. And of course, you see that I did not put a thumbnail for Sebastian because this is I had to let me just put me on for a second so we can get down to the nitty-gritty here. So the last time that I was live, I was talking about schools. I was talking about how I'm seeing things with Sebastian and the possibility that he could be at a school. And I know that's not a popular opinion. I know it's not a popular opinion. Most people think he's in the cemetery, he's buried underneath another plot, he's, off of Ward Lane. And I too thought that in the very beginning. I did. I was looking at going northeast and we took cadaver dogs on Ward Lane and we just didn't find anything. The searches that Jeff and I were on, and then I was on by myself with, other people. It just didn't produce Sebastian. It just didn't produce my hot spots. It just didn't produce him. So it's like you got to do something different to get different results, right? If we keep doing the same old thing, it's what? Insanity, right? So now I'm looking for him in another state, in another country, at a school because they were looking for Sebastian to go somewhere else. They were looking for places for him to go. It makes the most sense for me. It makes the most sense for me. And even though, well, thanks, honey. Thanks. Y'all are so sweet. Just keep on with all of that. That's fine. Just keep on saying all that sweet stuff. Hey Barb, good to see you, babe. So that's where I'm at. I'm thinking, and I know that a lot of people are on the lights, they're on the cemetery, but I've been there, done it, got their certificate, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. but we did search that area in the very beginning. And like I've said over and over, if Sebastian is deceased, which I don't think that he is, but if he is, I would see the waterway coming down from the new construction because the manholes were big enough to put a bunch of us in it at the same time. Even though they were searched, the water would have pushed him down, and that's where I feel like I would find Sebastian. So I've said it, we would need a whole freaking army to go from the neighborhood, the new construction, all the way down to the Cumberland. And that would be the worst case scenario for me. I don't think that he was I think that if Chris and Katie had anything to do with Sebastian's disappearance, deceased wise, which, if they did something, if something happened, they had to dispose of him. I don't think I think that they're smart enough to not do it next door. Okay. I'm not buying that. Hook, line, and sinker. I would need a whole lot more because the lights at the cemetery, that big thing, oh, I can't remember what it's called, but it's reflective. It reflects light. And so, when uh, Lady Freedom came and we drove her around and we showed her these are the places that we were looking in the beginning. We were looking in the beginning, right? We were looking in the beginning from the cemetery, the new construction to the cemetery down to Ward Lane, even where it corners. And we took a cadaver dog there several times. We took a cadaver dog other places. And we just didn't the only place that I can remember the dog really circled around and hung out for a while is the pond over there off of Ward Lane. Okay. And I've showed you guys that. So I just don't, yeah, do you? I mean, it's not a popular opinion. A lot of people have condemned and doomed Sebastian at the worst without any proof. The lights in the neighborhood, I know that Mob Crew and Silver's on the Scene have worked and worked and worked and worked on that. But I have worked and worked and worked on it since the very beginning. There is no cut through going toward Ward Lane. There's never been. As far back as we can go on Google, there's always been a gate. There's always been a creek there. And I've said that from the beginning. There is a creek from Ward Lane going up to the cemetery. There's a whole creek right there. So even if they didn't have that platform and gate, you still can't get over the creek. You're going, I mean, I guess you could. I mean, you could if you had an ATV or something like that, which is totally possible. But when Sebastian went missing, there was a gate. There was no cut through. There was no pavement. There was no road. It was just you could not get into from Ward Lane to the cemetery. So there's only one outlet. Okay. You can only go this way back out. You'd have to turn around and go all the way back out to Long Hollow. So yeah, definitely not discrediting their work. Right. Definitely not. I have given Silvers on the Scene plenty of hot spots to search. I don't know how many of them he has searched, but at the same time, I have expressed to him on a few occasions that I believe that Sebastian is alive and that he is at a school, he is at a military place. And let me just tell you something too. Chris has said, he has stated himself that when Sebastian is found, people are going to have to learn how to eat some humble pie. People are going to have to eat some humble pie. And I think that that has mainly stuck out with me. That's mainly stuck out with me where he says that we may have to eat some humble pie because things are the way he described it is things aren't always the way it seems. We know we have expressed the same concerns about Katie not having a whole lot of emotion, not crying, not talking, and it kind of seems scripted and things like that. And that could be the case, you know, that she just knows where her son's at. And she thought, you know, nobody thought that it was going to get this big. Nobody thought that it was going to be a huge deal. And here we are. And it's a big deal. It's a real big deal. And it's such a big deal that we're not letting go. We're holding on to the truth. We are holding on to something greater than, you know, Sebastian being, you know, deceased somewhere in a landfill or in a cemetery under concrete, you know, all the theories that people have come out with. You know, if you go on Reddit and you look at Reddit, Reddit is always a popular place when you're looking at theories and looking at different, you know, different people coming on there from all over the world. And Reddit is pretty interesting when you go back and you look at all the theories. And so we have so many theories, but not one of them is producing anything. We have creators that are, you know, just I can't even get into it. It's so devouringly exhausting. And not just on here on YouTube. I'm talking about TikTok too. And guys, think about it. I've had several people message me, a TikTok creator, saying that she has inside info. She had gotten inside info from a source. She can't, you know, it's all such a big deal. And that there was remains found and there was a coast guard and this, that, and the other. And guys, we have to use some common sense here. We have to use some common sense. Do we really think that remains were found, skeletal remains at that, on the search for Sebastian? And she just so happens to get this information that the parents can't get, that the parents didn't get. I mean, we got to use some common sense here, bring the old logic back in to play because that is just not. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I mean, I'll say I'm wrong. I just don't ever think, yeah, everybody is losing their ever loving mind. For real. They're losing it. We got to keep what we know. We have to use logic and we have to think clearly without being persuaded one way or the other. What is it that you feel what do you feel? You feel like Katie did something and that, or, you know, Chris was home and he did something bad, or Terry Bowersox came over and he did something bad. And that's why we're seeing a bunch of lights. You know, there was a creator that was talking about all these blobs and telling us what these blobs meant. And it's like, I just can't. I just can't, y'all. I can't continuously entertain stuff that I don't even think is logical here. Ooh. Yeah, I would definitely be I agree with what you said. I'd rather be wrong, erring on the side of life and hope. Ooh, girl. Yes. Hallelujah. Spirit hands, that's what I'm talking about. How would they put Sebastian in a school with his name? Wouldn't we be able to find him? How do we find him at these places? Well, I mean, Chris has said a few things about that, hasn't he? Hasn't he brought up HIPAA? I don't know. He's brought up HIPAA. He has brought up um, the misdemeanor for parental kidnapping. He's brought up several things. I mean, you know, Chris seems to he seems to really pat himself on the back for knowing the law, even though he's not a lawyer. So evidently, he and his mother have gotten advice, attorney advice. And so I'm looking at attorneys too. You know, these schools have representation. They have agents at the school. So lawyer to lawyer, what can you do? Have you ever watched TV where there's shows where, you know, you get an identity change, you get your hair cut, you get a new hairdo, you get a new name? I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I've asked myself this over and over and over again. What is the end game here? What's the end game? Would this all work out? I've looked at his 17th birthday I've looked at his 18th, I've looked at his 19th, and the only one that is, like, really standing out to me with the moon is the 20th birthday, is the 20th birthday. Well, yeah, there would be a money trail, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that because what would the money trail how could you hide money? If you're a real estate investor, can you hide money there? Yeah. Can you hide money in a LLC? Yeah. Mhm. There's all kinds of way to hide money. Look at our federal government, guys. The federal government. If you think that they can be corrupt and that they can hide some shit, don't you think that state and local can too? I'm not saying that Sumner County is corrupt. I don't know if they are corrupt or not. I don't know if the TBI has got some agents in there that are corrupt that know the Bower Sox. I don't know. But I do know that it's exactly what I'm saying is that you can hide a kid in a school, especially if it's another state, another country. You could hide them. Sure. And we haven't talked to Sebastian, so we don't know if he would have agreed to it or not. We just don't know. We just don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe though that for me, it's hard to see Katie and Chris unaliving him and putting him next door. You know, if you wanted to make it look like an accident, the logical thing for me, if you wanted to make it look like an accident, if something happened and you want to make it look like an accident, he's going in the big ass manhole in the new construction. That would be a great way to go, wow, he had an accident. Even if it was a cover up, it would look like an accident, you know? It would look like an accident. We know that Caleb Harris, he was found in the water system, you know? That's the only thing that really makes sense to me is if Sebastian is deceased, then that's the route that he would have went. Unless, you know, we can't really say, "Oh, we fell in a pond." He could swim. That's out. You know, the law enforcement, they made like he was a runaway, which they do that a lot. They make like they're a runaway and then they lose all kinds of time. And then the next thing you know, where are they? You done lost all kinds of time. Where's the video footage? Where's the cars? I just don't think that he made it home, guys. There's another theory here. And all of those lights in the middle of the night for a neighborhood, it just seems awful weird to me that we've got so many lights. The the law enforcement said that they could see it. They could see the whole place as if it was daylight, not dark, daylight, and that they have talked to everybody that was driving around there. 70 something cars, 70 something people, something like that. If Seth was in the chat, maybe he would know. But I mean, I just, you don't, I think exactly. What could they gain? Exactly. What could they gain? If it hadn't gone viral, they would have had a quiet couple years till he turned 18. And some of these schools are 21, 24. They're residential schools. And Chris has also made some remarks on his Facebook too about tough love. Tough love. It's all about tough love, you know, rearing your child, tough love. And tough love's military, honey. That's military style. So, a military place. Military place. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think we have to use some logic here. Yeah, I mean, I would say so. We have, I have a gazillion. I mean, I've got a ton of them on the map. On the map. I just don't think he made it home. I think it was a lot easier for him not to go home. The taking out the trash, that could have been his mother. They had on the same shoes. She could have walked just like Sebastian. It was grainy video. If it was Sebastian and there was proof that Sebastian had made it home, Seth would have said it. He has no problem being honest, saying what he thinks. And if he said that he doesn't know that that is his son, I'm with Seth. I don't know if it's his son because Seth doesn't know that it's his son. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that makes sense. He just didn't make it home. He went bye-bye. He went to his school. She went home. She got prepared for the big day, for the big reveal of Sebastian not being there. Could have been. Could have been, but the military is where I'm at. It's a military. There's so much military involved in Sebastian's birth chart. And I'm an astrologer, so I'm going to be looking at birth charts and comparing and all of that to see what it is that I think, where he could be. I mean, I've got notes for days. I've been working on Sebastian's case since day one. And let me just make something else clear. I spoke to the people when they came in from United Cajun Navy, and great people, great people. I enjoyed one of the guys. I think his name was Skip. He was really cool. He was a real tall dude, an older guy, retired, but he still had the military dues, still was buff. He was just cool. He was cooler than a fan. We talked for about, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour. And real Cajun Navy, not the fake Cajun Navy, the real Cajun Navy. They were there looking for Riley Strain. Then they came to look for Sebastian. Seth and the Proudfoots talked to them. They're not fake. They're the real deal from Louisiana. And now the disrespect that I have, that, I don't think that this is right. But I do know that it's a fact, because if you're around Seth, he has his phone on, unless he's talking to his private investigators. He has his phone on, where you can hear. He doesn't have anything, like he has nothing to hide, right? Well, the day that I was over talking to him, the first day that I was over there talking to him, Jeff was with me, and about the map, about what I do, trying to, get Sebastian's birth time and all that. And he was on the phone, and they were literally telling him that they had to pull out, that they were getting so many death threats, that they were being pulled over by the police, that they just didn't feel. It wasn't that they were scared for them. They were scared for they were nervous for the volunteers that they were bringing in. So that is definitely true. There's no doubt about it. They did their best. Maybe they'll come again. But a lot of, when we latch on to a case that is high profile like Sebastian's, a lot of times we have to weed through all the bullshit. We really do, because a lot of people are wanting to clicks, views, money. I want clicks and views and money. I'm not going to, I'm not different in that respect, but I want to make it very clear that until there's actual evidence that Sebastian is deceased, if Sebastian was deceased, there's the first person that's going to know is Chris, Katie, and Seth. It's not going to be kept from them and given to a YouTuber or a TikToker. So we do have to use some common sense here. You know what I'm saying? I do it for the right reasons. My intent is real. The sad thing is, one of these places are under the radar and abuse kids. Well, a lot of them do. A lot of them do. And so that was the reason why Seth was having a hard time, because when he would look at the reviews, he didn't like it. And so I don't know if Chris and Katie were thinking, well, he's just, he's being an asshole. He's just going to give us the runaround. He's just going to do this. He's going to do that. So no, we'll just send him where we want to. And Seth can deal with it, because when you do look at the reviews, it is disheartening, especially people that have been there. And that's what, that was the main problem that Seth was having. Seth wanted him to come and stay with him and be homeschooled. He already had the teacher lined up. Everything was lined up. It was just like Chris said, it was just getting Katie to get on board with that. So evidently, Katie didn't get on board with that, right? And she decided to do something different. They decided to do something different, and that something different has not been conveyed to the public. And if it's been conveyed to the law enforcement, they ain't saying nothing. Even if it's HIPAA, even if it were to be HIPAA, you got the FBI, you got the Secret Service, you have, um, the marshals, whether or not y'all want to believe that the marshals are involved, the marshals are on this case. Whether that's going to be the past, present, or future, I don't know, but they're definitely showing up in a big way. So that's what I know. And I can't unknow any of that. I know that there are some connections that Katie has with like Arizona, um, that are pretty profound. There are connections with other places that are pretty profound. So that's what I do. I'm looking for these connections. I'm looking at Kansas, Arkansas. What else I got? I got some other countries too. But I've decided that I'm going to start when I really start deep diving on schools and things like that, it's going to be a members only, not to get y'all to that aren't members to become members. It's just because I felt very weird after the last live because if he is in a school and I do happen to see and it scares some people, I don't want anything. I want Seth to be able to get to Sebastian before anybody else does, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm just being too paranoid. I don't know. I don't know. It's just the work I do sometimes does make me a little paranoid. It is completely illegal. It is completely illegal. But I've shown here on this channel where Chris is talking about it, and he seems to think he knows the law. His mother's attorney. I mean, I look no further than that right there. Why lie and say he ran away instead of the truth that they put him in a school and that Seth maybe could have visitation? That would have been the best way to go. Right. Well, like I said, I don't know about this humble pie that Chris is talking about, Dawn. I don't know if we're gonna have to eat some humble pie or not. I do have that feeling for a reason, I think. It just gave me the heebie-jeebies, and I was like, "Yeah, um, because even though we may want to send flyers, we talked about that, where maybe we should send flyers to all these schools, but even if he was how are we going to find him? How are we going to get him home? How are we gonna get the FBI to go and just do, walkthroughs at these schools? We're not. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, I felt it too, girl. I felt it too. Oh god. I've never felt had humble pie, right? I mean, I think that Chris has said a lot without saying a lot, you know what I mean? It is definitely custody interference. And like I said, I think that he thinks that they think that everything is going to just fall into place legally and they'll get a slap on the wrist and it all just be go away. Everybody will just be so happy that Sebastian's home. But, we'll see. We'll see how that works out. We'll see how it works out, guys. Yeah, it's definitely not a misdemeanor. He's more worried about talking about Brittany J than talking about his stepson. They have not looked for Sebastian. They have put up, "Oh, he's seen billboards go from all the way from Hendersonville to Memphis." Well, sounds like to me he's not from Hendersonville to Memphis then. Nope. They had motive. They had motive. They didn't know if Sebastian was gonna be called up on the witness stand. Didn't know if the state was gonna call him. They had motive. Why not just say, "Hey," well, they had motive because of a report. CPS, courts. That's why. That's why. Yep. No accountability. So we'll just have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see. The astrology has not disappointed. We have definitely seen that there today, all day long, there's a breakup with Sebastian's moon, his mother at home. It's with abuse in the cemetery, you know. Silver's on the scene. The transits are having him be right where he's at. Everything is always fated. It's always fated. There's nothing that's happening that is not meant to happen. Not nothing. Not one thing. Not nothing. Oh, okay. I had somebody ask me one day, "Oh, okay, so if I drop this piece of paper and, then I do this and then I do that." And well, yeah. Yeah. If you're supposed to be late to your doctor's appointment, there's probably a good reason. Then you're driving and you see, "Oh, there's a wreck. Damn, if I would have left on time, that could have been me." Yep. But it wasn't because it wasn't fated for you. Motive and all. Motive and all. I didn't want to like off him, you know? It's Katie's son. She doesn't want to off him. She just wants to get rid of him somewhere. Let him be somebody else's problem for a while, then he can come back and all's gonna be peachy. That's right. I can see it. I know, Shauna, you think it's a choice. Yeah. A lot of people do. They think that there's a free will, and that free will is the chart that I read. That's your free will. It wasn't random. You didn't just get born a random time. Nothing's random. Nothing's coincidence. Everything is for a virtuous reason. And it's all virtuous, even the bad things that are happening. It's virtuous. Seeing, Joshua pass away from leukemia, it was a virtuous reason. And that virtuous reason caused a lot of people, not just Josh's inner family, but all of his extended family and friends and teachers. And I mean, it reaches all of us. It's a butterfly effect. And this military school would make perfect sense when it comes to the way that I feel like they wanted to rear Sebastian. Sebastian had only been recently diagnosed with autism. He had only been recently diagnosed. Was born with the chromosomal deletion. He was going to normal high school. I don't think that they were really treating Sebastian like he had any type of disability. They didn't treat him different. They wanted him in regular schools. They wanted to discipline him regularly. They wanted him to be on his best behavior. They wanted, all of that. And then he's going through puberty. His voice is starting to change. He's starting to get in, little eyeballing, chicks or whatever. And they had to, he could be hard to deal with. His behavior could be hard. It was making it difficult. So rather than off him, they sent him somewhere else. Chris and Katie have military experience. Chris more than Katie. Chris was, I'm pretty sure, working on or responsible for moving weapons, Navy. So we got, naval bases all over the place. Virginia, Virginia has always been one of those places where I feel like Sebastian could be. But don't give up just so easily, guys. Don't give up hope because think about it if it was your kid. If it was your kid, put yourself in the parents' shoes. If it was your kid, especially Seth's, because Seth is the one that definitely doesn't know where Sebastian's at. So put yourself in his shoes and think, okay, all these people are saying my son's deceased. All these people are talking about all these theories and scenarios that happened to Sebastian, and not one of them knows for sure what happened or where he's at, where he can be found. Not even the law enforcement does. And if they do, they haven't let anybody else know, right? But think about all the different things that, Seth has heard since his son has been missing. All the things he reads, all the creators. Oh, well, I care about Seth, but, after you say but, everything else after that, you just scrape that shit. Don't act like you care for Seth and then but all that other stuff after that, it's over. You care about yourself, you care about your clicks and views, you care about being hard-headed and stubborn and bullheaded and all that shit. Okay? All that stuff that y'all think that Bower Sox did and choking this one and this one did this. I mean, can you imagine being a parent of a missing kid and hear all this stuff? Exactly. I care about Seth, but I care about Sebastian, but I hope he's alive, but all that you say after but is over. It's null and void. Yeah. Mhm. I don't think so. Mama Socks wouldn't have that, would she? It's all about it's all about her. It's all about Mama Socks and Faith. It does. I agree. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think after watching? Because remember, Jupiter was expanding the third house with Sebastian, the Neptune, it was expanding that with video and lights and stuff. This is what we saw with Mob Crew and Silver's on the Scene. There was an expansion with Jupiter, with the law. They called it in, they called the tip in. Now they're going to expect the law to come out there. And if the law does come out there, if the law does check the scenery out, if they do entertain this theory, it'll be what did I write? January 9th, maybe around the 9th of January. That's when they could come out. They could come out and they could, check the scenery out. Yep, I did. I did. And today's the breakup. Today's the breakup. The the breakup is with it's a 428. There's a lot happening today, actually, worldly, and with Sebastian. So Trump has the 428. He is being opposed today. All day long, he's being opposed. Um, the Chiron of Canada with children, with their publicity, with their public image. I've wondered if there is going to be any type of breakthrough with the kids in Canada today. Things going on with Gavin Newsom, money, pipelines, maybe, other people's money, investments. And the other person, who was that? Who was it? I think it was is it Governor Cox? I have to go back to my notes here because I've got a bunch of them. It's ridiculous how much you can fill up a notebook. Let's see, where was it? I'm back. Seems like there's a lot of things going on with the governor of Utah. The Charlie Kirk stuff. That's only getting crazier. A lot of things happening with the FBI, with Trump. Lots of limits and obstacles for Trump, the FBI, all at the same time. So, where do we go from here with looking for Sebastian? I mean, yeah, his home life, I mean, we just don't know. And it's funny how people talk about how Katie looks so scared of Chris. I don't think that girl's scared of anything. I don't think she's scared of anything. I hope somebody is gonna go down for it. I sure do, because the end game, that's what I'm wondering. The end game, how would that work itself out? You know? How would it work itself out if he comes home? Now, what he's gonna do, how that would work itself out is wherever he's at, he would more than likely go in somewhere and, and tell them that he's not missing. Like like Alicia Navarro. Alicia Navarro, she went and told them, "I'm not missing. Please take me off the register. I'm trying to get a job, and I can't get a job if I'm still being listed as missing." She was 18. And let me just tell you something too. All the people that said that she was dead, all the mediums that said that she was dead, it was clear that she ran away. She didn't get kidnapped. It was clear that she ran away. She was talking to somebody online. Sebastian didn't run away, that's clear. He didn't leave without shoes. That's not gonna happen. He wasn't walking around in the neighborhood without shoes. That's not happening. We're not seeing Sebastian walk in the neighborhood without shoes. No. Nope. Didn't happen. Mm. There was no scent. They couldn't prove that Sebastian left the house. Well, if you can't prove Sebastian left the house, then what's the proof that he made it? It's a grainy video. That's the proof, is a grainy video. We can't tell that that's Sebastian. So he didn't make it home. Exactly. Just get Sebastian home and seek justice. Yep. And I'm telling you, as much as Chris thinks that he is Mr. Law, how he just knows the law, it's not because he knows the law, it's because of the advice that he's been given from a lawyer. That's what I think. I think that's the reason why Katie doesn't really want to talk that much, because I think she feels guilty for lying to everybody about where Sebastian is, because she definitely acts like she knows where he's at. It's my opinion. I mean, y'all can disagree. You can totally disagree. Don't mind it at all. And you're more than welcome to come up here and share your thoughts. More than welcome to. And if you don't want to come up here and share your thoughts, if you would, there's the link right there. All you got to do is click on it and come up here and talk. And if you don't want to, and you want me to start circling the astrology, start showing you what's up right now, I don't mind doing that either, because I'm an astrologer. That's what I do. This is a different type of channel. Nobody else in the world does what I do like I do it. And I mean, we can all learn a little something, you know? I'm sure he does, girl. I'm sure he does. And I mean, I think I think that there's times that I just think that they could have, yeah, they all know Seth just wants his son back. Yeah. Yep. But it's not as easy as, well, Seth wants his son back, so let's bring him back. He's got to, let's see what you got, sister. Okay. All right. Let me turn me off. Hold on. Share my whole screen. Let's see what we got up here. Let's see what we got. The transits. Take me off. Here we go. Thought you'd never ask. All right, let's look at the transits together. I'm waiting on me to come up. There we go. So I can see me on my phone. All right. Let's see what we got here. When it comes to Sebastian this morning, Jupiter was expanding at a 2148. That 2148 is his Neptune, is Sebastian's Neptune in the third house of communications and siblings and cousins, neighborhood. There was an expansion. Cancer in astrology is going to the cemetery. It's going to a home or a cemetery. That degree is going to be going to the 21 in Cancer, would go all the way to Virginia on the map. The dark moon was coming and it was really dark. A lot of disordered aggression when it comes to the law, the judge, the long travel, the school, the church. And that was coming in this darkness when it comes to faith. Silver's on the scene. There's just been a relationship that has come against Missouri. And the last live that I did was about Missouri. And I want you to see something. The dark moon is about to come into a full-on opposition with Sedna. That's just going to be in just a few hours. And so there's a lot that's happening today. There's a lot that's happening today. Yesterday, the Secret Service had a huge weight on them. This 428 is it's a breakup. There's a major opposition with President Trump today. There's a breakup with the moon of Sebastian. The 428 also goes to Canada. And it goes to other places. The desires for Seth to find out where his kid is a 447. And so all day long today, there's a lot of attention on those desires to know where Sebastian is. And we do look to possibly Canada because that's where the moon is going, straight north on the map into Canada. There is so much to see here. The lunar nodes have just went over the United States. There's a lot of wisdom when it comes to Seth, the communications, what he's working on right now. I don't know what he's working on, but I mean, it looks like he's got some wisdom of it. That's all I know. I think that Chris, his connection to the FBI, that'll be in just a few hours. There's going to be some things that Chris learns, and maybe it's going to be about this. Maybe it's going to be about he's going to learn that some of us actually do think that Sebastian could be out of school. No doubt about it. You know what? I'm seeing, I know that this doesn't have anything to do with Sebastian, but I'm seeing Ghislaine or Ghislaine, however you pronounce her name. I'm seeing her showing up at transits right now with a lot of warring with the government and the hidden sex, things that we don't see. And like I said, there's just been an opposition with Missouri. Interesting. on the world, man, this is crazy. Crazy shit. I'll have to get a membership next month. Can't do anything right now. Just put a $20,000 roof on her house. Oh my gosh, Barb. Bless your heart. In a tornado 2 years ago. You know what? I remember that. I remember that. Didn't I look at that? And I was thinking about the insurance. Oh my gosh, I know what you're talking about. I almost remember it. I almost remember looking at that. Yeah, asking for a friend. Just let us know. Just let us know, Chris. I mean, just give us a little hint. Can you give us some more hints? Hmm. I mean, come on. So there is going to be a wake up call that's coming in the future with the groups about that 2148. So there's going to be more that could come about with the mob crew video. I just don't know that that's where we're going to find Sebastian. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even though it comes into the transits, it's because it's supposed to, but that doesn't mean that that's the end game. Okay. I wish that it did, but it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything, actually. Just other than, it's possible. The moon is definitely going to come and oppose those desires with whatever's on the scene with the law. Let's look at that though. That 2148. There's a state that has that 2148. Trying to think. No, it's an agency. Never mind. It's an agency. An agency. Ugh, there's so much going on with our agencies right now. Oh, excuse me. I'm trying to keep it like on track and not think about them and only think about Sebastian, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to differentiate here. Oh, okay. So let's look at that 2148. And it's going to be an investigation with the things that are hidden. See if that's coming tomorrow. No, it's today. Here we go. So this is okay. So this is the FBI right here. Okay, let's look at this because we've already talked about this, and I need to think about it. We definitely already talked about this, and I gotta remember. Damn, I gotta remember. What's up, Army vet? Yeah, Chris, just tell us how close we are. Just give us a hint. It's okay, Deanna. You just be careful, babe. Okay, so we have Sebastian right here. That degree is his moon in the fourth house of home. We have we have a relationship in the second house of his values that are going to be fated. This is at 8 o'clock tonight. There's a fate. Look at that 2144. 2144. Okay, so this is already in the past. Hold on, I'm working this out here. Chris and the FBI have a degree that connect. His lunar nodes are a 1909, something like that. The FBI has a 1909. But the FBI, their Chiron is a 2144 in Aquarius. This is a 2144 in Aquarius. So their Chiron, their wound, their pain, when it comes to video, when it comes to groups, homelessness, we're seeing something in the past tonight. So it could be coming today. It could be right now, for all I know. But that 2144 is now in the past. Let me think about this. If Jupiter is now in the past and they're going to learn something, it could be the mob crew stuff. It could no doubt be the mob crew stuff with the FBI and Chris. and the video about that. Let's see. The dark moon is coming against. Now there's the opposition here. Hold on, let me look. What else we got? 2046 is coming. The 2950 is coming for Sebastian. Let me look. Hold on. See what this is bringing us. The 1219 is, just so you guys know, there's a fated relationship. And we're almost there to that full-on opposition. Right there. And of course, I don't know Mob Crew. I don't know his birthday, his birth time, nothing about it. I do know Silver's. I do know his. That's Sebastian in the 5th house of kids, school. Reigniting of a flame. Responsibility. 2950, that New York and California share. There's a relationship here in New York. There's a disorder. There's this opposition. This is big. It's a big one. Ugh, what's going on in Israel here? What is happening? This looks like an intense time for the FBI tonight and President Trump. It could be something as simple as, shit, I don't know. Let me stop this for a second. Let me look at Israel real quick. Because we're looking at, maybe it's another dump, with the Epstein files. I don't know. See that 447 the 447 that Seth has, Israel also has it. And it's in transit all day today. All day long. All day. And you can see at 10 o'clock tonight, that's it as well. Let me think. 0056. They have a 50. Well, I mean, you would think that he would have called his dad if he could. If he could, I would think that he would. What are reasons why he wouldn't be able to call? Oh, you're welcome, Susan. I appreciate you saying thank you. That's very nice. I know that I've got a small channel and, not a lot of people understand what I'm doing, but it is what it is. I think that maybe what we're seeing here, things going on with Israel. It took place with Vladimir, the president of Russia. It took place with him yesterday. Now it spawned over to Israel now today with President Trump, with Gavin Newsom, and with Canada. There's something about Canada. I don't know what it is, but there's something about Canada here and their public image. 2502. All right. Yeah, I just do. I do think so too. I think he's being hit, but there's some shit going down tonight. What is this? There's some stuff going on. No doubt about it. There's 2421 and 2421. So the media is going to oppose this shakeup. There's yeah, um this is an Israel President Trump thing. No doubt about it. There is an opposition here. There's an opposition, a major opposition. And look at the United States here. Let's see if we're about to. 'Cause I know that the United States has some type of 00, but I can't remember. I know I've already looked at this, but I'm looking at it again. Thinking. Army vet says thinking. Okay. Thinking. Let's think about it. Let's think about it. 0053. Okay. So they have a 0053. Is it Biden? 0053. 53. They're going to get information in. There's information coming in. Information coming in. 53. Let's see. Where's it at now? 54. Okay, so it should already be in the news. Whatever I'm seeing, it should already be in the news. Should already be in the news, and it's going to be something pertaining to the FBI. The FBI. A New York party say what? Hell no. The 4 suspects were arrested earlier this month east of LA as they were rehearsing their plot. Oh, ooh. So that's something else too that I'm just not sure that we're actually out of the woods yet is some type of false flag. Some type of false flag because yesterday there was a huge wait over the Secret Service. Does anybody know when Trump is visiting or is he already visited with um Zelensky? Has he already done that? Went to Florida? Let's see. Let's just look at Trump. Jesus. Ain't no telling. Okay. Peace plan talks underway between Trump and Zelensky for his talks with Trump is in Florida. That's 5 minutes ago. So he is that meeting happening like right now? It's kind of what it looks like in Florida today. In Florida today. Okay, let's pull up Florida. Oh, dang. Let's look at this. Hmm. Let's look at this. Florida right now. Oh shit, this 10 o'clock tonight. Florida and right now. Okay. Pluto is about to oppose Florida. Yeah, it's already in an opposition now anyway. It's already in an opposition with Florida. Okay. So the reason why I'm saying that is because look, they have their Mercury here at a 240, and that is where Pluto is coming to, but Pluto is in Aquarius. So Pluto is transforming the communications, and the media is going to be opposing the Florida media is going to be opposing Pluto, groups, video. see. 27. I see mostly our agencies in this. Interesting. Hmm. Something. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm just looking at this for a second. I'm gonna have to pull Biden. There's one of them that's got this opposition that's coming up, and I may not be able to find it while I'm on live. Yeah, it's not him. I was thinking that it could have been a 59, but it's not. I mean, a 56, but it's not. It's a 59. But the dark moon is definitely going to be coming here. There's already been a fated relationship. And see, if these people are the best way that I know to describe these people that we think are, leaders, they're not. They're not. They're they're the cartel. They're really the cartel disguised as leaders. Oh, okay. Okay. At Mar-a-Lago. Okay. All right. Well, then okay, so that's gonna I'm glad that you told me that because that is hmm, let me pull that up. That's Florida though. That's Florida on the 31st, the New Year holiday for his protection. Right, 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 right. Yeah. I just don't know that President Trump, I can't even say what I want to say. I just don't feel like it's appropriate. But let me pull up Trump and let's look at this today. But then let's look at this because there's something else happening with this opposition. Something's up. Something is up. All right. So he's going to learn. President Trump is going to learn something about with the FBI here in just a little bit. There's a breakup. There's this breakup with the FBI. Something up with the FBI right now. They're having problems. Having problems. Now what? 2112, 2045. Look at that. The moon, where he's been before in Florida. Okay. And then we're coming down in degree with the health, with hygiene. And that's going to sit here in the 11th house and oppose the 5th house. The courts, the creativity that he's got going on with the courts, with the judges, too. What else do we got? We have all of this Capricorn energy that's opposing his groups, and it's right through here. All this Capricorn is opposing the way that he brings in money. What else did I see? Hey, Joni. Not really. Not really. You can always go back and look at it. Let's look at the CIA because we know that they're the main cartel. CIA. Let me see if I can bring them up. Let's look at them. With these transits right now, because something's feeling weirdly weird. I was thinking it wasn't going to really be big until New Year's Eve, but you just never know. Just never know. Let's see. 226 that we've already went over that. Mm. Let's see who's showing up. There's CIA 1706. It's almost like, is there a plot that's already happening? Like it's being planned. It's already being planned. I can see South Carolina. 28. 29. Let's look at Israel. What's happening in Israel? Okay, Iranian president says his country is at total war with the US, Israel, and Europe. Okay. All right, let's pull up Iran. Could be what I'm seeing here. That is in the works. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is. Very intense. Yeah. Okay. 2220. Yeah, I think that that's what we're coming upon. 25. I think that's what we're coming upon. And not only that, let me go back to, I'm thinking, so definitely Iran. There's things going on with Iran, no doubt about it. And tomorrow, it would appear that tomorrow is going to be even bigger than today with Iran. Okay, so tomorrow is going to be bigger, more intense, and this isn't going to go away. So, okay. So we can see that. We know that with Iran, that's definitely coming in because look, right now there is a devouring energy with Kronos at a 1622. It's coming down to that 1621. There's something going on here with Iran. A lot more. All these money making deals that are behind the scenes, man, it ain't good. Now, what I did see coming and what Jeff confirmed for me was the things going on in Nigeria. Got Nigeria written on my notes a couple of places. Let me make sure because I'm looking for that 56 because it's going to come into a full on opposition that 0056 and whoever's got it. Yeah. Okay. So we've just seen a relationship oppose the health. There it is. A relationship in Nigeria with the FBI. Lunar nodes are given a wake up call with relationships. Poor, I mean, I just feel so bad for these countries. I mean, could you imagine having to live in one of these countries? And it's just so sad. It's just so sad. Nigeria. Let me show y'all where Nigeria is on the map. Let me turn off all this stuff that I was working on. Here's Nigeria, guys, right here. From Sebastian's home. That is a just for shits and giggles here. It's 17. 17 Cancer. The lunar nodes are coming down to that. Okay. Why are we in Nigeria? That's the thing. Like, why are we there? Maybe a dumb question, but the events in the United States could it be the planning of New Year's Eve parties themselves? It could be. It could be, but this is so I was thinking that if we look at the transits right now and we go to the 31st, it's like whatever is there's something more that's being planned today. If it seems it would appear. So if we go to the 31st, we look at Trump. There is a huge weight. There's a huge weight on Canada. There's going to be a huge weight on Canada and Georgia and the values of President Trump at home at that Mar-a-Lago. So we definitely would want to look at this with Florida. Most definitely. 2, 12, 10. Is that a 26 or a 25? Let me look at the United States one more time because this is big. This feels big to me. Hold on. Yeah, there's an intensity. And see, God's will is being done right here at 1634. This is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's a justice here with the law, with the relationships, with the balance, with any type of contracts. There's a relationship with the United States. I mean, the 0047 is their weight of Hades with a relationship that's hidden. And this 1311 is a lot of our it's definitely a lot of our agencies have that 1311. It's very prominent. Did I see this in California? Hold on. There's a lot, the intensity for the United States. The United States is their vertex that's any of your birth charts, they've got a vertex. It's this VX that you would see in your birth chart. This vertex is always showing an intensity, an intense experience. Hold on, do I not have it pulled? Oh, shoot. Like here in the United States, the vertex is a 2609. So anytime a degree hits that's in transit, it's going to be intense. Okay. It's very intense. Intense at home, intense with hidden money, intense with things that are hidden at home, people's taxes, hidden sex. Okay. So that 2609, if you look on the 31st at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, here in the House of Groups, there is a 2609. Now, the other thing that I'm going to say is that the TBI, their vertex is also a 2609. That's how I can remember that. So, Nigeria, Cuba, but then I'm also seeing it could be Yemen or Syria, 27. The moon is going to be in Gemini, communications, Secret Service. I'll need to look at Secret Service with this. Hmm. — 921, 856. And then we're going to get information on the 1st. I can't make it out. '26. Yeah, Happy New Year. Iran's nuclear program. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely we're gonna have some intensity. That is for sure. So today it starts with President Trump and the FBI have a 2556 in their chart. The 2556 that they have, Saturn has just made contact with that. So it's about Trump and the FBI. There's things that are not going well with Trump and the FBI. And it's only going to let's see what's going on with the FBI. I mean, I'm sure a lot's going on with them, but you know what I mean. FBI surges resources to Minnesota as Patel calls 250 million fraud scheme tip of iceberg. Minnesota. Okay. FBI permanently closing headquarters at J. Edgar Hoover Building. Minnesota, Minnesota, Minnesota. What did the FBI have on Trump? Watergate prosecutor makes bombshell. That's 2 hours ago. So this is a lot of Minnesota, and a Watergate prosecutor makes bombshell claim about Epstein. I mean, that's definitely what's going on. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. The whole cartel. The whole cartel, guys. Okay, so let's look at Minnesota then. That could be the missing link. Minnesota. Did I not do it right? Minnesota. I appreciate you guys being here. I know this is this is different. It's definitely different. Okay, so yeah, Minnesota. Minnesota. The 1015 with Mars is just went over there. That's the we know that Palace is a investigator, investigating fraud. It's the fraud. That's the intensity. The fraud. Okay. Minnesota. Let's just see, since they got some fraud going on. I mean, 2655, that's 26. Mm. Mm. Yeah, it does. 31st does look kind of, let's see. Minnesota. It's not a chart that I look at often, so I'm just kind of, filling my brain here with the Minnesota chart, looking at their connections here. 28. Let me go back to my notes. Sebastian. It's not the missing link, though. That's not it. That's not what I'm looking for. Not what I'm looking for. I'm going to have to pull up the Secret Service. Secret Service. We will definitely be home for New Year's. We're not going nowhere. I'm not planning on going nowhere. Not wanting to go anywhere. Look, oh, why am I dueling it out? Let me look at it right now. Still nothing. No. We know that we're going to learn some things about the Secret Service. 2139. Yeah. 236. So we have just had a huge weight that was coming in the future. It's the 2354. Hmm. The values. There it is right there. I think that's what it is. That was what their weight was that is coming in the future with their everyday with the Secret Service. And it would appear that we were looking at Minnesota, but I'm still not seeing what I'm looking for here. But that's okay. That's okay. Let's look at New York. Let's look at them. Okay, so they have a 54, a 0054. So that's going to be the information that would be coming in for the United States. Today's Sunday. Tomorrow's going to be we could look at the 17 there. Oh God. Okay. Let me look at this first with Sebastian for a second. New York. New York. Oh, that sounds good, smack talker. Damn. Sounds real good. New York. 27. This is interesting. New York. Let me look at Sebastian's map for a second with New York. New York. Philadelphia. New York. Let me see if I got a hot spot here. Hold on. $54. It's in 2 days. Let's look at the stock. Let's look at the stock market. Actually, let's just look at Larry Fink. I mean, he's the money guy. Like, let's just look at the money guy. Let's go straight to the source. Something's up. There's money going. Money being tossed around. 29. Nope. He does not have, well, he does have the 0055. Okay. So he's going to be getting information about whatever this opposition is. So it could have to do with money. It could have to do with the money markets. It could definitely have to do with the money markets. Got the SEC. I got, Jesus. Oh, let me not confuse you guys. What other country? What other country would have that? 2355. So we've got some warring coming with the stock market. 26. Yeah, I think we've got some things coming that may lower the markets this week. Whatever it is, you would actually think that war is going to bring it up, but I don't know. I'm not so sure about that now. I'm not so sure about that because Zeus is in an opposition, building an opposition at 2622. 2622. We got a ways to go, but it's already incoming. It's already incoming, y'all. Let's see if Zeus goes to that 2622. Oh, it's going to be a while. Damn. Nope, it's not going to. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to. Who is this? Who is this? Who is this opposition? It's coming at the same time. Is it going to be? God dang. You know what? Let's look at freaking Zelensky, Vladimir, because that, okay, he's got the 51, 0051. It'll eventually get him, but it's not him. It's not him. Ugh, damn, who is this? Who is going to have this major opposition? Let's look at Yemen. Shit. Let me make sure. So Yemen has just received some information that was in an opposition last night. That was last night. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Hmm. Trying to think. Iran, Iraq, Egypt. Let's look at Egypt, Saudi Arabia, because you know that Charlie Kirk stuff is going on. So Egypt, Egypt. The moon has just opposed them. It is not them. It's not them. I don't know. God dang. I hate it when this happens. And of course, you know, after I get off live, it'll be shown to me and it's like, okay, now what? Now what? Saudi Arabia. I'm trying to think of who else. I guess I could look at France, you know, could look at France. Let's see. FAA. You know what? It could be the FAA. Do I have the FAA today? I can't even look up. It's ridiculous. All the notes I've got, it's just ridiculous. Saudi Arabia, Federal Aviation, maybe. Palestine, maybe 618. Ah, shoot. So Palestine is January 9th. Palestine is January 9th. We could be looking for something for him, for them. This is the same day that I was looking for Sebastian. So January 9th is the day for Sebastian. Uh, Palestine. So that's the 9th. Gaza. I wonder if I've got anything for Gaza. No. Who is this? Let's look at Turkey. Hell yeah. Let's look at Turkey. I mean, I'm going to get there at some point in time. We're going to see who this opposition is. I mean, it's going to be let me look at the, maybe Taiwan. Why Taiwan? Why? 25, 26, 29, 55. Well, there's definitely a relationship. Turkey. Okay. Still not what I'm looking for here. That is gonna take place tonight. And it could just be, an agency, hell, that I just haven't pulled up yet, but there is definitely, I mean, who else? United Nations? Good thinking. Good thinking. Thank you. Let's look at them. Well, they do have a 52, so that's definitely gonna be a part of it. There is definitely a part of it. So the United Nations is definitely a part of it. That is going on, of course, right now with the warring back and forth, strategizing with all the cartel players that we call presidents and leaders. Um, the opposition, ooh, FBI, it's with the courts, relationship, communications, China. I don't know. I don't know. I'll keep looking for it. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. I'll be looking for it. I will be looking for it. Oh my goodness, guys. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I'll be back on in the morning and doing a deep dive again for some of the things that I may have missed today in the live and that I want to go over in the morning. But I'll be back on in the morning. I hope you guys have a good rest of the afternoon and evening. I appreciate everybody for hanging out and being here with me. You're absolutely wonderful. You're welcome, honey. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to keep looking for this opposition because it's coming. It's coming tonight. I just don't know who. The FBI, I'm looking at them. I'm looking at other people. So the things about Sebastian and the places that he could be, I don't know that I'm going to be so forthcoming with that. I just feel like I don't want him to be moved or anything like that. I don't want to rock the boat, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? I hope y'all do. I hope you understand. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me. And thank you for being members and all of you mods for coming in and showing your support. Y'all really have no idea how much it means to me. It means the world, really.
Clean like your soul, won't be forgotten. We stand strong for you, never give up. Seek justice and truth, day and night we search. Community gathers, wipe the tears away. Rise up for you, Sebastian strong. Sebastian's army, we march on. Each day comes and goes, hope in our hearts. You're never alone, we'll bring you home. Wish it was a dream, babe. It lingers on, but strength we carry will keep you strong. Rise up for you, Sebastian strong. Sebastian's army, we march on. Each day comes and goes, hope in our hearts. You're never alone, we'll bring you home. Wish it was a dream, hey, it lingers on, but strength we carry will keep you strong. Rise up for you, Sebastian strong.